X-Files Part 2 or X-File MK episodes Part 2. All right, back to the emitters, the cable, the special cable uh super technology emitters. So um oh yeah, the next thing I can remember from the whole series, I mean, I'm only at like episode 140 about now. So there's still like 60 to go, but look, uh uh Mulder was under like some kind of psyop from the cigarette smoking, man, and they had his room bugged, and he looked up at the ceiling and he seen a crack of light coming through the ceiling, and then he ran upstairs and busted in the room and just shot this agent that was in there. I mean, that's how I feel like doing the gang stalker sometimes. I wish. But what happened is that they went to his water tank in his building and they put like basically scopolamine in there, and it drove him crazy, and it made his paranoia go up, and also dopamine levels increased. So when you got paranoia and dopamine, uh adrenaline, when your shit's all jacked up, it makes you more susceptible to those type of situations. And it's funny how the water was attacked, and they put chemicals in there to make him go crazy, and that was also telegraphed in that movie Dark Knight Rises with the Scarecrow. And what does he do? This guy's a dang psychologist, and he basically, like MK Ultra, slips acid in people's drinks, but he's got the scopolamine shit, and he puts on this scary mask and terrorizes people basically, and gets sick joy and gets off on it. Not much different from your Mangalas, and people like that. Your MK Ultra engineers, architects, and operatives. So it's funny how they they showed that right in there. Like, look, they will put something in your water. Once again, in Flint, we got lead, supposedly high levels, and there is a link between lead poisoning and higher levels of violence. From what I know from heavy metal poisoning, it does cloud your brain and it slows you down your thinking. So when people get what is the word I'm looking for? Impatient. They do get a little slightly more aggressive. They're full of angst. When you can't think clearly, when you ain't got a clear head, all your decisions will be affected. And it just, the more things that go wrong, if someone is susceptible to anger issues as it is, or gets frustrated easily, it is a hell of an ailment to have to deal with. All the aluminum and all the fluoride and all the lead. Aluminum from the chemtrails, and then who knows what those nanoparticle particuli, smart dust, and who knows what fucking kind of metal that shit is made out of. Who knows? But yeah, back to more MK Ultra situations. They did show kind of like some voodoo type of mind control type of things with this and it was weird because it was refugees at a military base too, which I thought was kind of weird. And we see stuff like that going on now. So it's kind of like you can't say no one ever saw these things coming. All right, let me think. More of the MK Ultra situations. Alternate forms of MK. Alright, they had to kill them all. Then the chemicals. Well, the last one that I can remember for right now at the moment is it was there was this episode where this dude he kept seeing this, that like the people around him would turn into basically like big praying mantises, and it makes it look like the people were going straight nutsoid. But this dude basically he had this hostage type situation. He was telling Mulder he's got this AK, and he's like, look at him, don't you see him, don't you see what he really is? And then Mulder actually does see him, and for a second, the dude turns into a giant bug. And this bug, he owns a corporation and a company, and he invites um his workers into the office, and then they come back out and they're zombies. Like, and literally, as a metaphor, yes, the job, the boss, the soul sucking trafficking of men's souls. Sure enough, I mean, in your way, your job can turn you into a zombie, and you will be a slave. I mean, you might not be totally zombied out, as in a zombie, but you might be oblivious to the fact that it's being done to you. So that you still kind of fit into that zombie need to go eat some brains category. But yeah, that was a very crazy episode too. Like, this thing came after Mulder too, and then Scully saw it too, which was is which was it's rare that they both are in agreement that when about funny business, there's always someone who's still kind of wondering. But on that one, it was like, whoa, yeah. So the mantis, alien, reptilian, well, not reptilianoid. They do talk about the fast moving mantises, and that things that can move that fast. Like, they say I've heard of people saying they got abducted by aliens, and they seen mantises, and these things would like move so fast they'd be in one spot and they just show up in another spot. And if something moves that fast, it actually does become invisible. And that, I think it was called In Between the Light or something, was the name of that episode. So they had the chemical, they got the chemical down, they got the machine interface, and the emitter signal from the cable company. They what else? They showed scopolamine being used in the water on Mulder, and he did get violent. And look, the frequency, the kill 'em all, and actually on the new episode, actually the frequencies, the voice to skull, the voice of God technology, actually floored Mulder. I think on the second episode, and the dude from India stabbed himself in the ear with a dang ice pick or something, because of the machines doing the kill 'em all, kill 'em all. Oh yeah, and then Pusher was the hypnotist, the suggestionist, and you got okay, so chemical, bug, pheromone. Let me think. Hypnotist, suggestionist, and you even had illusionists, and you had definitely like MK, like drop the acid in your drink and not tell you, and the bug, hive mind, mastermind, zombie maker thing. So I thought all those concepts were pretty good, but especially the ones with the pheromones, the gay bomb pheromone situation. I thought that was really relevant, especially with the triggers, that the kill 'em all in the thing, and then even how they even went further and they showed with the cable company and the fast flicker rate. Like, you overlay those things on top of each other, and you start to see that, we got a smart meter and Wi-Fi, telephones, TVs, people driving down the street with bass in their music's attacking you. And they got the cell towers now everywhere, and voice to skull and frequencies. Like, dude, we've been getting hammered with frequencies. But since I started using the binaural beats on the sleep, actually the frequencies, I haven't been hearing the frequencies as much. So there is something to the binaural beats, and like kind of like some kind of like weird rewire your brain protection from the electromagnetic weapons that they've been employing on us, the nudge program, and the woodpecker signal, the Russian woodpecker signal type of operations, or like when the Russians microwaved the embassy and then they didn't tell the people in the embassy, and the Americans just used it for medical for medical information. There's crazy stuff out here, and all this stuff is relevant, and it's like just because it's a show, this is actually a show where you can kind of like it drops a lot of real stuff out there. It keeps killing me that it's from the 90s. Like how like listen, it literally is like that game San Andreas. It is like the internet. It is like YouTube in a way. Like it's crazy how it just look. There's so many people mention X Files, man. And it's just crazy. Like I said, it and the fact that listen, I could see how they jacked some of the deck, the Illuminati card deck, and put it in the in the show. And like I said, that Illuminati card deck is like a talisman, or a tarot deck. It's crazy, or a Ouija board almost in a way, like something. It's a device like that. So when you play with the device, the cards, it's gonna manifest things, man. In real life, man, and it's crazy. So in a way, like I always feel this weird synchronicity when I be watching, and it's like I know I haven't seen all these episodes when I was a kid. I seen quite a few of them when I was a kid, but not all of them. And at the time, I wasn't smart enough to really absorb what was coming at me. So now looking back at it, it's crazy, but it feels like I have all these weird synchronicity type events when I'm researching this, and it's like quantum entanglement for real. It's like the Milgram experiment. There's a movie called The Experimenter, and he actually sent all these letters out, and basically it asked this person, these random people, if they could knew anyone who knew this person. And after they sent the thing through 6 different people, it had worked its way through the chain and got to the person they were actually seeking. And none of these people actually knew him but the last person. But it's where 6 degrees of separation comes into. And that's a real small, tiny version of like butterfly effect. But it's really more like quantum entanglement. And it just shows you it's a small world. Everything is connected. Your actions will affect people down the line. Energy never dissipates, only changes forms. And there is kind of like there is like an external consciousness. You know what I mean? Out there, it's like but that external consciousness, it's not. There's multiple consciousness out there in a way. Like the animal internet. You got the human collective consciousness, but then you also got the satanic hive mind out there, and then the demonic internet hive mind, because they are like a hive mind. That's why the human aspect of it tries to replicate what's already there in the demon and the spiritual. That's your whole quantum entanglement, the dimensions, the CERN machine. They're trying to pierce the veil to see the other side. That's because it's dimensional. So I just wanted to kind of just compile these in a better way here, and just I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video where I'll name off every single the address of these episodes. I don't remember the names of them, but I just remember the one dude called Pusher. He was the Ronin, man. That was, and then like I said, there was another episode. The dude came back, and he had another disciple of the Pushing, which was pretty wild. But yeah, if you get a chance, check those out, man. And it's I mean, even though we're living it now, it's still funny to go back and look at. It's a great way to see predictive programming, though. It's not everyone who's making predictive programming knows it. Someone handed them a script. They just do their damnedest to make it happen, and everyone's happy. Basically. So they might not even realize what they're into until way later down the line. They look back like, "Whoa, yeah, I got used. Someone was leaking me information." And hey, that's how it goes. Normally, somebody's got to be the one to break it to you. And I know not everyone knowingly gets into these things. Some of the people just stumble upon it, or some people might just find themselves in it and be like, "Whoa!" Now they can flip that around and use it now as a tool. Empirical data.